All right, we are live. Thank you for watching this VOD. Hopefully if you're watching this VOD, it means that I've actually been able to get my crap together and get this uploaded. I just realized I haven't uploaded videos in quite a while, but thankfully Zukin is getting stuff up and Goblin's getting stuff up, and so that's helpful. Let's see. Is it showing me going live on the thingamajiggy? Yeah, it showed me last night. Okay, it's showing me going live in M&M Discord. Cool. All right. Xiaowang, Talet, Quixana, Ali, what's going on? Welcome. Let me just get relaxed. What's up, Code and Caffeine? I think I'm drinking too much Monster Energy drink and coffee in a given day. But it's Friday. I'm gonna party. Hey, Sarenth. I don't know what I just downloaded, Ali, but it's taking me a moment to get Unity going. There we go. It took us a moment. Discord bot has not pinged yet? Well. Let me... Is all the jam stuff accessible, Ollie? The biome jam scenes? I'm gonna sneak around and look at people's work. If I can get in. Man, this Aussie lemonade monster is delicious. I've got to readjust my sound levels and stuff from last night. Music okay? Is it overbearing? Hey Aram, what's up Chaz? Solo. Did you guys, were you here yesterday? Did you check out the visit with the Embers folks? Dozakar, how's it going? Got to watch most of it, had to drop early. Yeah, right on. Cool, Saren saw it. What's up, Chinny D? Yeah, I mean, if you guys didn't see it, I would say it's well worth checking out the VOD. They're good folks. Coding Caffeine, are you saying that from a place of having played it and then made that determination, or? Hey, old man Lewis. Numbly fans, we are always doing it live. Okay. Doing it live. Damn it. Yeah, I'd say they're cool enough folks that ooh, here I am. I forgot I was in here last time I was in. They're cool enough folks that if you can afford it, even if it's not 100% your thing at this moment, I'd slip them a little sub and then check in every once in a while and see how things are going. Meek says I play Embers daily and love it. Right on. Oh my gosh. I don't know if it's just stuff's loading up, if I needed to restart my machine or what, but it's killing me down here right now. There we go. That's a little bit better. A crossover event. Go through a portal somewhere in Embers and it takes you into M&M playtest. That'd be funny. I actually pitched that for a different MMO. I had pitched that idea at an MMO company I was working at for a future project. That basically the idea was that we would build the second MMO in the same world and with the same engine as the first MMO. Different rules, different basically two different games, but still mostly the same. And then you could meet and interact with the players of the other MMO. And then you could actually use that to, so your characters could run into each other, see each other. Imagine if Night Harbor was an MMO, and then we made another Night Harbor on the other side of the continent, but they were two different games with two different themes, but not so wildly different that they couldn't interrelate. And then you would actually see those players, right? So imagine we got Night Harbor's fantasy, and then we've got other Night Harbor on the other side of the continent is cowboys. And you would like run into each other and see each other, and you roll up there on your fantasy horse, and the cowboy rolls up in a pickup truck, and then yeah, metaverse of MMORPG. Yeah, it was like that was kind of the thing. That was yeah. So we're heading that way, and given the theme of the first game and the pitch for the second game and stuff, I thought it would be a really cute crossover. And I guess if I'd stayed there, we could have made it happen, but I didn't. M&M, Monsters and Mechs, confirmed. Ollie, you're supposed to leave that sort of shit for me to spill. Hey, Justin Beard. Hey, John. Keith. Dragon. Alright, so let me just throw the golf mini game in. You never know. So it would be really fun to get a number of like mini games and parlor games and stuff like that in here, though. Eventually, give you something to do while you're sitting around at the tavern. Are these named exactly? So if I were to do this, can I go there? I can. That's neat. Hey, Nicodemus. So just a heads up, next week's going to be a little weird. We'll figure out the schedule next week. I'll stream on Tuesday unless something happens. Thursday, I'm going in for surgery. So I will be in the hospital Thursday night, Friday, and then we'll see when I get out of there. And I don't know how functional I'll be from Thursday on, basically. But I'm hoping that... Nope, they're not taking the finger off yet, Justin. They're gonna do that as soon as my shoulder heals. So first it's shoulder, and I had the visit to talk about it already, and they said basically they're gonna do like 1 or more of 3 potential surgeries, but they've got to get in there and look around first to let me know exactly what it's gonna do. Yeah, I'll get you some updates. I'll have my phone. Maybe I'll hop on Discord or something. Live stream the surgery. Might be a terms of service issue. Jasmine asked if she could watch. She was like, she really wants to be in on the finger one, so that she can make sure the stitches are done well. Thank you, Nicodemus, and everybody else. Quicksana, etc. Hopefully it'll be pretty smooth. So it's the first time trying to zone to this zone, so we'll see if I get in or if it takes a while to load or what. It's one of the biome jam zones. Funny, when a crowd starts chanting "Take it off" to Sean, it's not what most people would think. Yeah. There goes the finger. Archmage Salamar said, "Thanks for doing the Embers Adrift stream yesterday. A lot of good info. May check it out." Yeah, thanks for checking it out. Like I've been saying, I hopped in. Took me longer to get in than I should have. I've been meaning to hop in for months and months, but I got in over the holidays and played for a bit, and I had a really enjoyable time. My plan this morning, after talking about it so much last night, I woke up this morning really wanting to sneak in and get an hour or 2 in this morning over coffee. But the thing I run into is the bulk of the team is awake while I'm asleep. So then I wake up and there's lots of cool things to look at or discussion, or some of the team's still awake, and so instead of getting in and grabbing some coffee and playing this morning, because I got done chatting with them like midnight my time. So we talked for quite a while after the stream, and it was super fun. And then, excuse me. And then then I wound up in bed probably 12:30 in the morning, and then Jasmine woke up at like 5:30 this morning, so. All right, I don't know if I'm actually loading in anywhere here. Maybe I need to check the DB and see if everything's hooked up properly. All right, zone. Smell knee surgery in your future, sadly. Yeah, I've got one knee that's pretty trashed, and I've only had a couple people look at it so far, and they were like, it's kind of pointless to do anything surgery-wise, so. But I swear there's got to be something they can do. So jungle biomes there. Let me try one more time. Yeah, I've heard good things about stem cell treatment. I'm gonna DC raid boss. I'm gonna describe it really poorly. It sounds like whatever's supposed to be behind my kneecap is been worn out, and there's a grinding there. And so basically, if I'm walking upstairs, if I'm doing squats, lunges, anything, it's ridiculously loud. I was buying some pants, I think last summer, at like a camping place, and the young woman that was helping me like find the pants or whatever, I squatted down to just see how they how the pants flexed, and it sounded like the pants ripped, right? It just and Jasmine was just like, "Don't worry," in German. She's like, "Don't worry, that's just his knees. The pants didn't rip." Hey, Carthage. Liz said when my dog busted his knee, I convinced the vet to let me watch. It was fascinating. Oh, what did they do? Did they like open it up? Whose house is that on here? It's in Ashira's house. They made him a new cruciate ligament, Liz said. Oh, wild. Saren said, yeah, I'm heading to knee surgery on both in a couple of years. Wore my knees out via powerlifting for years and years. Then finally tore my ACL, MCL, and medial meniscus. My lifting days are done. Not when they're going to put new parts in there. You'll be lifting like a machine. When I first, you know that I spend too much time hanging out with MMO folks. When I first read that at a glance as wore my knees out, power leveling, I was like, damn. That's serious min-maxing. All right, so I'm not able to get into that zone by zoning. Let me try one more of these biome zones. Cacao said I had the same knee issues when I was younger. I think they told me I had patellofemoral syndrome. I'm gonna Google that. And then I'm gonna check with Dr. Google. Interesting. Interesting. That does sound familiar. It's common in people who run and play sports that involve running and jumping. Yep. Justin Beard, you took an arrow to the knee. What were you in a fight with PewDiePie or what's going? How did that happen? Took an arrow to the knee is an old joke from Skyrim. And I just know it from PewDiePie doing it. It makes sense that you would do it, right? I think he does some stuff with memes on occasion. I used to be an adventurer like Justin until I took an arrow to the knee. Now I remember. Oh. If I continue to run into issues trying to actually get in here and run around in these, then I'll just run around in the scene view for a little bit. Excuse me, and then we'll figure something else out. Oh, you know what I could do to be semi-productive while bullshitting with you guys and talking about last night and catching up and all that good stuff? I could probably do some, instead of dungeon decoration, because I'm not fully prepared for that at the moment. I could do some just dressing up of NPCs that I already know that I have in game. Semi-productive. What stream did you tune into? Because it can't be me. Yeah. I'm stepping up my game in 2024, dog. I'm gonna become semi-productive. What's up, Dargith? Man, okay, it's loading. It says it's loading. What's up, Keebs? It's loading. I'm gonna sleep so good tonight. As soon as this monster energy wears off, I am going to pass the frick out. Start the new gerb on Monday. Getting excited. Dargis, remind us. What's going on with the job? Listen, don't know when the next playtest is, but as long as it's not in the next 2 weeks. I should have a super shiny new PC to play on. Nice. Oh, nice, yes. Target said dev manager role with a well-established game studio, making a switch from a 13+ year at my current place. Big shift. That's badass. Let me take a screenshot of this and ask some questions. I have questions. Gotta ask something in Slack really quick. Environment. Is the blue fog in Night Harbor intentional, or is it spill over from testing something? Elron says, I love/hate Goblin Slack notification sounds run through his stream when I'm working and lurking. Hella triggered, thinking I'm getting Slack messages. Somebody yelled at me about that. Somebody yelled at me about that on the stream at one point. The green mist is from first. Alright. I'll call out first. I'll say first chat is blaming you, Pikachu. Oh. There's the silly serpent. Ancient sea serpent's over there. Oh, and he's gone. Alright, so... The sassy sea serpent is scarier. Is there a sassy one? Someone sneak in here? Yeah, so when I first saw the blue fog that I believe it was Simon was working with, to me it feels pretty cool for like a it feels cool for like a tropical island. Or just kind of an island out there would be a good vibe. Oh, Monty says it was his fault. You can grab it whenever. I'm not working in it. Should have said, I'm streaming, so obviously I'm not doing any work. Let's see. Can I zone? Can I get a witness? What is another zone that I might be able to get to? Yeah, the stream today is just to make up for the fact that I didn't stream on Tuesday, so. And honestly, I've been super heads down working on documentation stuff. Just basically all week I've been trying to get a bunch of documentation stuff knocked out. I don't know how functional I'll be after surgery next week for a little while, and I wanted to get this stuff done. And then it's stuff that some stuff that allows us to look at things a little bit more, hopefully big picture, broader, in more concrete terms. So while folks are doing cool stuff in the zones to do like the various biome jam zone examples, I've mainly just had my face in Confluence and also building a big zone map for all of our zones. And and the zones they'll change over time, and there'll be different ideas incorporated and all that stuff. But it was like a first pass sort of connection map to kind of look at, hey, where would we want to be, at launch and after launch, and kind of what's the bigger plan? Because in my experience working on MMOs, I've never had the opportunity to have a really super solid long-term plan on any MMO I've worked on ever. And it could be that we're fooling ourselves and thinking that we can come up with a decent long-term plan in terms of what we're shooting for, knowing that it will change inevitably over time. But could be fooling ourselves and thinking that we can make this happen. But I feel like we're at a pretty nice spot with an idea of where we want to go with the world. And so the thing that I've been doing is just some cleanup around that. Making sure that in our documentation we've got a Confluence entry for every one of those boxes on the map, and there's a lot of boxes. And any ones that already had some thought, put into them, or hey, I've had an idea for this zone or that zone or whatever. I wanted to get that jotted down, and so that's just been basically the last many days. And then while I'm in there, it's like, okay, continue to clean up this part of Confluence and that part, and we've got some debt, some residue to clean up in there. What's up, Dark Inside? What's the shortest time I was ever given with the team from here as your project to it's live? I mean, I've worked on one game that had weekly release, like a weekly release cadence. So that's the shortest, but that's also just kind of weekly cadence. That's different. The shortest expansion cycle I've ever been on for like an expansion, where we got asked how quickly could we make an expansion, right? So that's essentially put a box on the shelves. That was 4 months from, hey, can you do this, to, hey, it's on the shelf. And in that case, that was the first time we didn't put a box on the shelf. We actually did our first digital download. And that was Legacy of Akesha. So the fastest planning cycle I've ever had for an expansion, in that case, that might have been it as well. I think we got the request to propose what we're going to do for that 4-month expansion, and we had 3 days to put the proposal on the CEO's desk. So tell me what the expansion is going to be. From beginning to put it in front of him was 3 days, I think. 3 or 4 days. And to make matters even better, the presentation of the expansion was not done directly with the executives. The expansion was culminated in our annual company Christmas party. So I got to tell the entire company of 500 people in a giant room with all of those folks. I got to get up on stage and present a brand new expansion that we had 3 days to think up, in front of 500 of my peers, knowing full well that anything I said that sounded like bullshit would be called out as bullshit. So it was really tough. Oh, Stonelistic said, scary impressive. Oh, it wasn't impressive. It was a shit show of a presentation. It was a tough one. Now, the presentation itself, the stuff behind me, the stuff that we put forward was good. My delivery was not good. And I was flustered, and it was a tough one. It was a tough one. The thing that did not make it better was on the way in to present this in front of everybody at Sony Online. I was with the producer, and we ran into Smed, and Smed said, do you have the expansion figured out? I said, yep, and laughed a little bit. And he's like, it better not be pirates, because it was like sort of a running joke. And he was like, it better not be pirates. And I was just like, oh shit. And it was absolutely pirates. It was troll pirates, troll zombie pirates. And so I was like, oh fuck. And that it kind of went downhill from there. And it was hard. It was hard presenting EverQuest expansions to the company. You guys may not believe this, but it was hard presenting EverQuest expansions to the company because the company didn't. Many people in the company did not like EverQuest, right? And we didn't have like, you know, it would be like, here's Star Wars Galaxies, right? And they would have like 5 machines daisy chained together with like dry ice sitting on them and fans blowing and everything so that they could get like any sort of frame rate at the time during those early demos. And it's just like, here's our super like badass scripted demo, and you see you see like all these Star Wars characters, you see stormtroopers and all that cool shit on there, and it's like, you know, James Earl Jones is doing Darth Vader, and then they're like, and the legendary Raph Koster's here to present Star Wars Galaxies, right? And it's like, George Lucas pops on stage. Hi guys, hey Raph, good job, buddy. All right, let's see it, you know, kind of thing. That didn't really happen, but it was just like, you know, and then they would show this badass video, and then they're like, oh yeah, everybody's like, yeah, and then they'd go, all right, EverQuest, what are you guys doing? I've got like an old school projector, you know, where you slide the paper underneath the thing, and it's just kind of projecting it up there because we didn't even have time to make it digital. It's just like, I got a notebook. I bust out my Trapper Keeper, start sliding papers under there. I'm like, and then we've got Troll Pirates. The reason why we went with Troll Pirates is because we have 4 months to make an expansion, because Star Wars Galaxies is running a bit late and we need some more cash. Shola. So this is what we did was we didn't actually have time to make very many new characters at all. So we got a new model, but what we did is we're just painting the old models to make it look like something new. And this obscure little island that is in the shape of a skull on the map that we've always been like, I wonder what that place is. We're excited about it because we're nerds for this, and so what we did was we made that into a few zones, and ta-da, right? Like tap dance a little bit, ta-da, and everybody just kind of like, next up is the next game and it's just like, you know, awesome presentation. So. One polite cough in the background, yeah. Yeah. You playing any Tarkov this wipe? Probably not. Probably not, let's be real. I appreciate it, Nicodemus. The deafening silence, yeah, it was rough. The thing is, I'm pretty certain while I was up there, I think I said something like I tried to make a joke and it didn't work. No one responded. And I go, I'm fairly certain I said, because I was like super flustered. I was like, I'm fairly certain I was like, well, fuck, I'm bombing up here. And then later in the presentation, I was like, well, almost done here. I can't wait to start drinking. And that was me representing the team in the best possible fashion. Zone. Liz said, if you want a game of silliness, Pal World, basically it's Survivor with it's Survivor had a kid with Pokemon. I think Asmon has a video of playing it. I'll just watch him. Well, that shouldn't have done anything. I think I'll just watch him do it. Hey, the morgue. Learned a lot though, didn't you? Kind of trial by fire. Yeah, it was absolutely. It was a good learning experience. Got a good story out of it. I mean, it's one of those situations where it wasn't a great, you know, I would have loved to like been the dude and got it done, but I absolutely, when I talked to the team, it was one of those things where we're like, dude, I'm glad it was you and not me, right? So I kind of feel good about that. You know, I was able to I can look back on it and go, I'm glad that it was a situation where at least I had to go through that and nobody else on the team had to go through that. Watched a good interview recently on the Sean Ryan show with a guy named Christian Craighead, a former British SAS operative who saved a bunch of people in Nairobi years back. And he explains a lot of his experiences in life in that manner. He's like, yeah, this thing happened to me and that thing happened to me, and it really, you know, wasn't pleasant. But the one thing that I can say is I'm happy that those unpleasant things happened to me rather than happen to anybody else, because I was able to absorb it and learn from it and live, whereas other people it would suck to. It's like, you know, it's like this. It's like my stupid finger or whatever. I'd much rather this happen to me than any of you guys, right? Like, I look at it, I'm like, all right, well, we'll deal with this shit. Whereas if one of you are like, oh, that happened to me, I'll be, oh my God, that's horrible. Sorry. I'm so sorry that happened to you. All right, one last try to get into one of these zones. And then I'm just going to check them out in scene view, like I said I was going to do before. Any idea when we'll get a little more imminent playtest time? I mean, we want to do more of them this year for sure. I don't know that there's ever going to be a good pace, right? Like, I don't know that there's ever going to be a pace where everybody's happy until we're live. All right, I got the feeling these guys are stuck in the void, so let me see if I can find another one. Log in and then I'll try a different zone. What would have happened if someone told the execs we need 6 months to a year to turn out an expansion that will blow you away? Would they have listened? They listened a bit when... So... Oh, that reminds me. Somebody up there said something nice about LOI, and I saw it and I missed. Mushnar said, for what it's worth, Akesha is my favorite post-pop expansions. One of my favorite post-pop expansions. Those are incredibly fun to play and level in my opinion. Cool, thank you. So when Gates of Discord came out and had the issues that it did, when they asked me to come back and do Omens of War, they already had a ship date for Omens of War, and the team had already started, like spent a month on Omens when I got brought back onto the team. And when I realized that what they were working on probably wasn't going, well, not probably, what they were working on wasn't going to work, talked to the team about scrapping it, reducing scope on some of the content they were wanting to do, like multiple epic quests and all this other stuff. And basically I took 3 proposals back to Smed and Russ. And one was like, we can stick with the current timeline and this is what we'll give you, and this is how we feel about it. You could give us an extra like 2 months and see if we can push the ship date. Like apologize to the retailers or whatever. And this is what we can give you. Or maybe no. Yeah, push the ship date by 1 month. That would give us the 2 months that we need. Or you could give us 3 months and we'll make an expansion where we'd be really, really amped on it. And so they picked the middle one, which was fair. And that's what we stuck with. And we nailed the ship date, and got a decent response from Omens, relatively speaking. And so they were generally happy, and they were fair in picking the option that they did. So Justin said some people don't know, but a lot of game dev industry people work insane hours. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a tough industry. Darius said, I didn't like the frog models sitting here trying to replace the new models with old models for my PC frog lock in the EQ files right now, actually. Yeah, I was not a fan of the new frog lock at all. And it was a tough one because we didn't have a lot of time on LOI to argue it, and did not have, I think, the political capital needed to really push back on them hard. But we were split on the team in terms of people liking them, not liking them. And I just felt they felt a little too over the top and modern, and they look like the WB frog a bit, and they look like Battletoads a bit. And it just, to me, it didn't have the same vibe as a frog lock, and I really loved the original frog locks. And so it was a bummer to not get them. All right, so I'm looking through the zones right now. Let me try one more and see. I'll probably just get this character stuck as well. Zone. So it's Friday, man. You guys got big plans? What are you guys doing this weekend? I helped my garden buddy move. Is that what happened on? I think that's what happened on Tuesday. That's why I didn't stream on Tuesday. Because I woke up, I went, basically he picked me up at 8 a.m. We drove out to his dad's house because his dad died last year in a car wreck. It was super unfortunate. and they've been trying to sell his house. A really nice house, but it's out in the country a little bit, and so basically we needed to clear it out because nobody wanted to buy any of the furniture and stuff in there. It was really nice stuff, but they couldn't get anybody to come out, and they weren't able to do like an estate sale or any of that stuff. And so we got out there and we started work at and it was snowing a little bit. There's a giant container that was dropped off there. And basically what I did that day from 9 a.m. until 5 p.m. minus, like a couple 5-10 minute coffee breaks was they were mounting, because a lot of the furniture is built in, like cabinets and all that stuff. The full kitchen, bedrooms, office, all that stuff, taking everything that they unmounted or broke down and brought out to the container, and I turned it into tiny little pieces of IKEA with a sledgehammer for the entire day, and then wedged them together so that we could fit everything in a household in this container so it could be picked up. And then beyond the furniture, there was like bags of stuff and all sorts of other stuff. But basically, this destroyed tens of thousands of dollars worth of furniture for the entire day on Tuesday. Did not get back home until, did not get back here until 8 p.m. And yeah, so that's why I didn't stream on Tuesday. Let's see, you guys said, snowstorm keeping me in the house with family and kids down here in Tennessee. School's been closed all this past week. Oh, man. Stay safe, stay warm. And then the next day we wound up, the stuff that we didn't destroy, we wound up moving on a trailer over to his sister's place and carrying stuff up and down the stairs. So yeah, I was physically worked. Supposed to take the boys to see some monster trucks tomorrow, but you're snowed in pretty good as well. Dang. Bullet Catcher, for some reason I thought you were in a different location. I thought you were in a different state. Dragon said going to a tribal funeral for a friend's brother and trying to figure out the leak in the tile shower. Neither one of those are fun, man. John said, same here in North Alabama. Been iced in at home all this week. Pessimistic Squid said, just another day of winter here in New York. Yeah, so friend of the family on Instagram was posting, because she lives in Texas now, and she was posting a picture of her going to work in New York in the winter versus the weather conditions that are causing her to stay at home in Texas, because she's moved to Texas. Yeah, Keith said, now your muscles are ripped. It felt good, man. It was a nice workout, but it's funny because the whole day he's like, here, his brother was there as well. He's like, have my brother help you with this. I'm like, what? He's like, have my brother on your end as well. I'm like, are you trying to say you're stronger than me? Right? Like the whole time I was getting pissed off. So I can carry this myself. Then he's like, you're having surgery on 2 different body parts in the next 2 months. I'm like, oh shit. You're right. Let's see. John said, when I had to clear out my parents' place, I had to take down mom's wheelchair ramp. Place was sold. It didn't have 3-prong plugs. Had to do a whole thing with hand tools. Oh man, it's gnarly. And it's tough. It's tough. When a buddy of mine's mom passed away, we flew in the day she died. It was pretty tough, and then nobody else in the family was really helping do anything, and so we had to go out to her trailer and check that out. And it was gnarly. It was the same kind of deal where it's just like pretty old school. Nicodemus says, something I've learned in my industry when getting approvals on projects, present multiple options versus asking for a go or no go. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Another thing I learned from a producer on DC Universe, who is a former Microsoft guy, was he called it sort of putting the rubber duck in the presentation. And so what it would be is like presenting something where we're like, hey, executives, I'd like you to check out this zone. And then and you're not sure if they're going to give you a bunch of feedback or approvals or whatever. And so what you do is you put something blaringly, obviously incorrect in here, right? Like, so now imagine there's a bright yellow rubber duck right over here next to this rock. And so what he said was if you just put in a glaring error, then executives will latch onto that, and then they'll talk about it for at least a quarter of the meeting. They'd be like, "Oh, what? Yeah, it's looking good. It's looking good, Sean. But we noticed you've got a giant yellow rubber duck over here. So just we were wondering if maybe we could spend some time talking about the rubber duck that's over here. Yeah, all right, yeah, let's talk about that one. That's good, especially if you're dealing with a board or whatever, because the board half the time doesn't know what the hell you do." And so, be like, yeah, you're exactly the stuff. A duck, oh goodness. How in the world did that get there? Exactly. Like, well, we were just being creative. What do you guys think about the duck? Do you have thoughts on the duck? And then we would spend all the time that they're really going to, an attention span that they're going to allocate to feedback on the duck. And you're like, at the end of it, it's like, gentlemen, ladies, good call on the duck. I think what we're gonna do is I'm gonna take it back to the team. It may be a hard sell, but I think we're gonna take the duck out. Oh, that's really great. Cool. All right, time for us to go out to our overpriced dinner. Yeah, let's go do that. So, if anybody is an executive or a board member or lurking in the background, yeah, so a couple of questions about the zone. So this month, what we're doing on the team is we're doing we're doing a biome jam, right? Like, it's just we're taking 3 weeks. We're in week 2 right now. Folks on the team are taking an opportunity to the idea originally was to take the same mesh, the same foundation, and by using different textures and just a couple of different objects, could we make a zone feel different, right? Using different fog settings, kind of looking at how that works with lighting, and yeah, in this case, I feel bad showing. I'm not going to show you everything until after the biome jam, because then I'll have hopefully approval from the creator of this zone. But this is one of the zones that's being worked on. This one's worked on by Simon / Baloo. You'll see him in here, Baloo, Balo, like Baloo, like Big Buddy Baloo. And so essentially, coming in and just making some tweaks to create a new effect. And it's kind of helping us see what level of investment we really need. Like, it's how efficient can we be in creating new biomes, environments, and stuff. And not just a biome, but like sub-themes within a biome, so that even if we've got 4 or 5 forest zones or 4 or 5 desert zones or whatever, how do we make them feel pretty distinct and create a nice experience that doesn't just feel like it's all the same zone? Because that's stuff that we want to do within the desert region as well, right? So more dust storms or slightly different lighting or whatever, right? So So that's what we're doing this month, basically through the end of the month. We're working on that. So those of you that asked, yep, we've got some new assets in here. So new tree assets, a couple of new tree assets, and different fog in here. As you mentioned, some tweaks to the water here. And there, you know, I don't want to reveal too much, but you know me, I'm a blabbermouth. We've got some other new assets in here. I'll give you a little hint, a sneak peek. Sitting at the airport for 3 hours, flight got delayed. Sorry to hear that, White Bandit. Can we add more sand somehow? Too much green. Yeah. After all these years. Oh man, you're on the way home too? Oh, that's shitty. Was it a work trip or? Can your druid shift into a bear and slap salmon out of the water? If that's the worst thing you're doing in bear form, per modern gaming standards, I think that's fine, and I think that's good. Are we going to have playable lizard races like the Ixar or Froglock? Eventually. Turnip said, patch note, players who urinate in the river will now be surrounded by a yellow cloud. You will be detected. Alright, so this is one biome. Slapping the salmon. Is that what the kids call it nowadays? Jintaki coming out of lurk mode with that gem. You could say Baloo is creating this biome with just the bare necessities. You could say that. That is a good one. Norin Zelkar, thank you for the follow. Nomely fans, I'm not thanking you for the follow 57 minutes ago because I'm pretty sure you're following before, so I don't know what's going on. Isan, what's going on, brother? All right, so this is one of the zones that's being worked on. After staring at desert for a long time. You guys hyped on that? Is that a nice change? Do you like what you'll see? I posted in Discord if you hadn't seen it. I did a quick pass. Basically, I sat in this zone earlier in the week, over the weekend or something, and I just through tweaking the fog settings, the ground texture, and yeah, the fog settings and the ground texture, and playing with just slight object moving around modification. These are the looks that I banged out over the course of like a probably hour or so. But keep in mind that there's no real changes in objects or any of that stuff. It was really just tweaking settings, moving a few objects around, and so the other scenes that are being worked on were the other scenes that are being worked on right now are there's more effort going into them. They're coolers, but this was just kind of like I was trying to see like, all right, so if I just make the fog green but low lying, right? So if I climb up on a rock, I can actually see over the fog. It's a nice low lying fog. Does that create a different feel from like here where it feels maybe, you know, with going with just sort of a neutral blue fog, it feels more like a moor, right? Like, you know, Hound of the Baskervilles kind of like situation, some Sherlock Holmes shit. And then, all right, let me swap out the texture to be the sand texture. Oh, now it feels kind of like misty morning desert island on the beach. Okay, that works. You know, we're back to desert again. I know how much you guys like desert after staring at desert for 3 years with us. Bless your patience. I took the texture out into Photoshop again, same texture. Didn't rename it or anything, just basically Or maybe I did. Maybe I did. And then I deleted it. Shit. Anyway, so I just took Ollie's sand texture and then was like, all right, let's just strip the color out, give it a little bit of a blue hue, throw some blue fog in. Boom. Really play with the fog, but have it be obviously daytime, so it's like cold as shit, but you know, low vis, frosty morning kind of thing. And then I was like, all right, well, let's just hammer it. But I wanted to make sure that you could still see the sun, right? Because it was like, now you know it's damn cold. The fog is dense, right? It's just, if I had a snow weather effect going, I would just have the snow weather effect going the whole time, right? But you can see the sun trying to peek through. That's telling you just how just blatantly cold it is. And so then here I just tossed some trees into view, made it swampy as hell, green. Took this is the same tree. I just took the palm tree out and like stripped the color out of it to try to make it look like birch. And like, okay, we've got some golden, you know, amber zone stuff that we want to do. So tried that. And then, yeah, it was like, I think it was Nicodemus. Nicodemus had mentioned wanting to do, is like, hey, can we do something that feels like you know, one of the scenes from Game of Thrones where it's the woods in the winter. Was it, let's see. Pessimistic Squid said second desert scene, the fog looks like sand blowing. Yeah, it's got that feel, right? This one. And Turnip said, I'll take desert biome over frozen biome any day. Yeah, that's why I like Kunark better than Velius in that sense. Velius was warm. Kunark, I felt cold all the time. What's up, Zukin? Oron said, I spent 80% of my time in EQ on sand or snow. I'm not sure what this grass stuff is. You didn't get any grass experience during your like level 8-ish experience. Oh, that's a nice card. Let me peep this really quick that White Bandit found. Well, I like how they mix. They've got the dry grass there in the bottom as well for some contrast, and the black trees. It's nice. So it's that kind of stuff that we can do because we're going to have, looking at the world map, you know, there's a lot of different zones. And so just having, you know, because you could take this same one and do basically the same thing with blue, right? Or shit, you go in there and it's got red grass. I actually found, I found a cool picture. Red Marsh, China. This is a real place. If we made a zone that looked like this, you'd be like, this is ridiculous. This is not real. Now, I'm not sure how much they're like pushing the settings when they take this picture, but we have a zone that actually is going to embrace some of this, and it's not too far from where you're at. This image is actually a decent one for that. Maybe. I'm going to leave this open. I totally forgot about, because I was looking at interesting marshlands, and I totally forgot about the savanna. So we'll minimize that for now. Alterian76, thank you for the follow. Jintaki said Velius had the fact that it was all in-game going for it. Ice fields are always late game. Earth does have some cool places. I spent a while inside Yellowstone. Some of my Pix vids look straight up fake. Yeah, so Yellowstone National Park is actually an inspiration for some other zone that we're doing. So the Yellowstone geyser colors. I don't want to spoil anything, but I will say doesn't I think I know of some curious little races that would be very interested in learning more about places that look like this. What's up, Bjorn? Bjorn. That's pretty too. He doesn't want to spoil anything, but he sure is spoiling us. I'm a blabbermouth. So yeah, and basically that was it. That was just playing around with some different settings, got some different effects, right? So, let's, if you guys, ooh, here's one that I haven't been in firsthand, but let's go check out Pattis's. Again, I'm not gonna show off too much because I'll let them show off their work or give me permission to show off work. But so same zone. This is the same zone that we were just in. Some different objects, some different textures, some different fog. Will there be drop bears in the trees? Cannot tell you because that would ruin the surprise. So, we got this going on. How is it the same zone? The challenge for this 3-week art jam that we're doing as a team was to use the same base mesh to try to make some different looks by swapping only textures and objects. Now, folks, our team being our team, always take a little liberty, right? So there's a little like added some other shit around, right? But essentially, if you look at this and look at this, it looks like the mesh got moved a little bit, but it's essentially the same place. And that's what I was just showing, like, that's what I was showing here, right? Like, essentially, this is quite literally me trying my best not to move around when I was screwing around in there and just swapping out some things to kind of show you, you know, naturally this is a different location, but these 7 are the same location, right? And it's just, for us, is maybe also a good reminder of the power of simple changes to kind of just get us in the groove, right? So looks like an eruption occurred and is burning the forest away. Oh, it's interesting that there's a different sort of feel of timing, like how long has it been this way? Ripley Roy says, I'm new, what tool is being used for zone creation? So we've been using a mix. The first year I was just using Blender, and then essentially importing that into Unity. Then the second year, as we got artists on, it became a mix of Blender, me in Blender, and also in Pro Builder. Harrison in Pro Builder and in Maya, I believe. And since then, Simon's been working in Pro Builder and Blender, I believe. So, but for the most part, that's what we're using. Should check out Danakil Depression in Ethiopia for zone inspiration. Let me do that right now. Open on another tab. It sounds familiar. Oh, but it is not. That, my friend, is a good call. Oh yeah, sure thing, Leroy. Yeah, and if you have any other questions, if you're not familiar with the project, we're really, really open about what we're doing. right? So, and we're always happy to help folks. Our community, if you check out our Discord, lots of folks are working on different things in there. And so we're not one of those game teams that's like all turtled up and, oh, don't talk about your ideas and shit and don't ask us questions, right? We're more of we're just a bunch of happy-go-lucky blabbermouths that this is literally that one zone in WoW. Oh, what's the name of that zone? Was it, in what expansion was it? Was it Wrath of the Lich King? This zone looks super familiar. Borean Tundra? Yep. Yep. But this is a great one. Pessimistic Squid, I appreciate this one. It's funny though, like this, I was like, oh shit. Immediately saw that WoW zone when I looked at just that one for one, but these other pictures are really cool. So I will add this reference to this one area that we have. I could even see taking this theme and doing it in a deep zone as well, but having it be bioluminescent. What if these colors were bioluminescent like algae and fungi? So let me, I will absolutely remember to add that. That's what I like about hanging out with you guys. Give us them free ideas. What about the flower nonsense that's in Denmark? Somewhere up there. The tulips, the tulip, Netherlands, right? Tulip fields. The flower nonsense. Zone with no grass, all flowers. That seems kind of us. What's up, Ventali? Here we go. This is heavy duty flower nonsense. Somebody at a market in Stockholm, when I was living in Sweden, told me that they would harvest these flowers in the morning, and they would harvest these flowers the night before, and they'd be at the market in the morning, like they're super fresh. I've flown. Yeah, I've flown over this and seen them, and it's definitely weird looking. All right, so we got this one, and I have not personally firsthand been into the zone that Monty's been working on. So let me check it out. Check it out. I should look up Il Meg Final Fantasy 14 for flower inspiration. Oh man, that's a very Final Fantasy zone. Access denied. What? Why won't you let me click on you? Talit said, I've always wanted to see a zone like Lake Maracaibo? Just tons of lightning? It's funny you say that. Chip, are you out there? Another good inspiration. Right on. Thank you for this. That's what we're doing today. We're just gathering inspiration from you guys. Bust out the coolest zone inspiration you can think of. We're clicking links here. Hard to fathom some of these places are on Earth. Yep. Yeah, are you guys familiar with the lightning that happens when there's a volcanic eruption? Victoria Falls would be good inspiration for lizard people. All right. Have you seen the stuff Zukin's been working on with his lizard area? I think this actually does fit with what he and Simon have been doing. So I'm gonna add it. Oh, those are beautiful falls. Oh, these are great. These are great in general. Oh, this is another one where I could see doing an interesting zone where these, like, you're in this ravine, in the deep, with falls coming in on either side, and you're traveling via boat through the ravine, and it's under the earth, and then do something weird with lighting so that you can see it. I don't know if... I think the team knows if they put anything cool in Slack, then I'm going to share inappropriately. So let me do that. Let me find... If I can find where... Oh, have you seen this? Have you seen this creeper? Look up underwater rivers for something particularly unique and unsettling. I have. They are very weird. They're very weird, but it's a good reminder, just even from the colors. Yep, it's Zukin's spider. I'm trying to find... something Chip was working on, because I want to show it off, but I don't remember where it is. Vinicuncha, Peru? Let me check that out, Chinny D. Oh, I've seen this place before. I totally forgot about it. Oh, this is a great one. This is one of those places where it's like, if we put this in game, no one will... They'll just think we got silly. They won't believe that stuff actually looks like this. But I think it fits with these guys, right? So we got here. We'll move this over to here. We've got these three in a row. Just all sorts of colors. Zukin's been knocking it out of the park this week. Yep, and he's been uploading a bunch of shorts and stuff. You guys, you gotta stay on top. Make sure you're subscribed to our YouTube. Hey, Cypher. Always have a loading message that says inspired by true events. Oh, I like some of these gorges here, and the waterfalls is a okay. What else you guys got? Did I miss any? I'm trying to find the thing that Chip was doing. Puerto Princesa. I'm just gonna say Puerto Princesa Subterranean River. All right, let's do it. Gorgeous Gorge is fun to say. Oh yeah, well, particularly fond of that one. That's already kind of sketchy. That just feels like it's gonna open up and eat somebody. Awesome. I dig it. I dig it. Sun Dune Cave is another fun one. Some Journey to the Center of the Earth stuff going on here in Vietnam, I believe. I mean, look at this beast. Trust me. So as I've been doing the world map, sort of getting everything updated in documentation, I've been sure to like try to grab as many of these cool images as possible and throw them in as inspiration. So I've been doing a lot of virtual spelunking over the last week. Oh, that's got to be awesome. If I wasn't so sketched out by shit being in water, like I've developed a pretty irrational fear of water areas. I'm not afraid to admit it. All right, so Monty's. Pessimistic Squid, living up to the name, says I've been swimming in the middle of the Atlantic and Mediterranean. Give me all the water. I'm good. I'm pretty good. I'm okay without it. Thalassophobia? Is that the fear of Cthulhu? Then yes. Disco, disco. Disco biome. Deep water, so sure? Yes. Shaders are compiling. It will normalize in a minute. There we go. Disco, disco. This zone is massive. This is a massive zone, Monty said. I hope he doesn't mind me showing it off. That's what I do. All you see is the desert town. Well, this has all been the last couple of weeks we've been messing around with these new areas. So, that's not to say that we're not going to keep making you stare at the desert town. Hey, Poon. Good to see you in here. Typically see you in Discord. Yeah, so you guys have been complaining about not knowing which way to go per the quest instructions, so we're just going to put it up in the sky for you. But I'm not even gonna joke about it. Yeah, so one of the things that we've done is we've tried to really be tight-lipped on a lot of the lore. And another thing that we're going to do as we go further is you'll get glimpses of different zones we're working in, but then when you playtest, you'll probably be still sort of constrained to Night Harbor in that area. And then more and more, it's already the case. There's stuff that's just going in that can't show it all off. And so there'll be more and more mystery building up in the background for you guys. I'm very curious to run around in here, but I couldn't get it to load, and it might just be, I'm not sure. It's something I gotta get with Ali on. Yeah, so it's something we've been playing around with different ground textures and stuff. So one of the things that we want to do is we want to keep things relatively flat. We don't want to just paint in a bunch or have like a bunch of procedural grass and stuff pop in, but you know, have areas where there'll be some tufts of grass here and there to remind you that this is grass. We're assuming you guys are okay with that, right? And this gives us a little, is this sand or snow? Let me come over here and look. All right, it's more sandy. Nice. Cool with grass as long as you can smoke it. Right on, right on. And so my main concern, that's a nice scene from over there as well. My main concern has always just been in ensuring that that we maintain that chunkiness, right? Like we can't have, I think it was Pattis that called it like the mashed potato look, or maybe it was Monty. We can't do that everything's just kind of rounded. That's not our style. So Monty's done a great job of creating this, and he was right. He's like, when you get in and look at it firsthand, you'll see that it is still very chunky, and it is in fact chunky. It's great. Yeah, making it look jagged, make sure there's enough. We want you to see the polys, right? Like we want you to see big fat polys. So this is fantastic. I love the ocean in the distance as well. Right? Like, good job, Monty. I would love to see this with day-night cycle, but like I said, I can't get the I can't get it to load. I've got some characters stuck trying to get in. So I'll get with the guys this weekend, and we'll see about getting in here and running around maybe by Tuesday. Yeah. And so we've got some areas coming up that we'll be working in. So basically we've got our desert areas and we're going to be working north. And as we work north, we'll be moving into the Elven lands. And so that will require us to transition from desert over into an interesting savanna that's been tainted with some magic, so it'll have a really unique color. It'll be a very uniquely colored zone within. If you've been in our playtest, or if you've watched me run around in Glass Flats or Dragon's Run or any of those, you'll see these massive red sand dunes. And those red sand dunes have been tainted by some pretty bad magic, and that has bled off into a zone on the other side that you'll be seeing, and then that will transition into something that looks, well, now that Monty's made it look a lot like this, and then it'll move into forests, which I don't think it's in here yet. But our dear Bilth has been working on some forest stuff, so. What's up, Goblin? Seeing this was huge. Monty's gonna get some of those trees I did, and once he's back too. Yeah, so my dream, because I've had the opportunity, because I live in Germany, my dream is to really capture this feel here, the Black Forest, where you look and it's like bright, and it can be bright and sunny, and then you look across a field of just bright, sunny, warm grass, and then the forest is there, and it's awesome. Every time we go hiking, I say the same shit. With Jasmine, we're hiking. I'm like, look how gnarly that is. You can't. It's a beautiful day out, and you can't look more than like 3 or 4 meters into the forest before it's pitch black. Getting you way too stimulated. It's Friday. You can't get too stimulated on a Friday. Definitely run into and fell through a large crimson dunes. Yeah, those are just placeholders back there. So yeah, essentially imagine we got this, and when you're down here, and you're looking up, then on one of these hillsides you just see massive forest, just raw forest, like holy shit. One of the questions that we had when we were describing like what should our Black Forest sort of feel like, when Goblin was doing this, it was just like this idea of those of you that have played EverQuest and you ran around in like Greater Fadark, Lesser Fadark, in the big ass trees, right? Like the big trees are there. But you never get to see the forest from the outside, right? There's never that like opportunity to come upon the forest and go, oh shit, look at that giant forest in the distance, right? And so the feel that we have with like when you're in Night Harbor and you're looking out across shaded dunes and you're seeing Fallen Watch out there, and I'll load Shaded Dunes instead, just because it'll load faster than Night Harbor. Well, we have Treants. We are bound to have Treants. So like all the zones got their fog. All their zones got their fog messed up. So now you can't really see it in the distance. We'll fix this. Let me fire this off. So my point is nullified. I can fix this temporarily. Oh geez. Oh geez. Alright. So in the distance. Right? And you're like, I want to get there eventually. I want to go there, right? Like that's the whole idea, is like seeing that in the distance. That's the whole idea with being able to see the forest in the distance. Let me jump back to, and those of you that are just coming in, don't fix the fog. In that zone, we are definitely fixing the fog. So again, one feel versus another feel. Versus another feel. Oh, hey, tree. Just hanging out. Yeah, but Aramisk, the nature of the haze is what we want to mess with in there. There may be some haze added, but we'll never have haze or fog in Night Harbor or Shaded Dunes in a way where it obscures Fallen Watch in the background. I mean, outside of like weather events and stuff. Are you guys just trying to flesh out each biome type? What's the goal? The goal has been over this 3-week period for us to just make as many different biomes as possible. I don't know, were you, I don't want to necessarily repeat it if you were in here earlier, but like I was saying earlier was with this, it was just kind of like, hey, even if we're in the same biome, different tweaks to the fog settings can make it feel like a subdivision of the biome, right? So if this is kind of like a forest biome, are they birch trees versus other trees? Is it meant to give you kind of a warm autumn feel versus a cold or kind of spooky forest feel? And you could go on and on, like using different colors. And so setting like how cold it is, I was mentioning earlier, like you've got, all right, it's cold here. The sun's still up, it's still visible. This feels even colder. The sun's barely up, kind of like what Aramis was saying about the, Fallen Watcher, barely up in here. Oh shit, the weather conditions are really, really tough, right? Because we can do the same stuff in here. We can take then a mesh like this, a zone like he's got in here. And I'm assuming, in theory, we could play with some settings. And don't worry, I'm not checking any of this stuff in. Potentially even in a way where when you're above it, you actually have to go down and get in a bit. And it's interesting because there's other stuff like one of these was tinting the ground and the base height, like ultimately kind of how close it is to you. So that when you get down in here, and so when you combine this with like day-night cycle, when you combine this with weather effects, we can have different sky boxes going on and stuff to sort of simulate different cloud cover and lighting, right? So, yeah, it just gives us some nice options for fairly low cost variation in our zones. And when you're asking before, kind of like why are we doing the jam that we're doing to see how different we can make different things feel, it's it's kind of a reminder of like, okay, cool, we can do this, and then we get like, you know, naturally we're going to be changing the terrain and we're going to be changing stuff that's going on, but it's going to show that we can get a lot with just some smart changes instead of like just, you know, destroying ourselves and trying to get this stuff done. Be cool if there's a floating island there's actually a giant sea turtle. Old Man Lewis, and then that turtle is on a turtle. So yeah. And when you look at the other stuff that Monty's been doing with the shaders and stuff, you can see how we've been able to take something like this and then turn it into we can turn this into snow and have it painted on. Yeah, so a lot of opportunities for us. I mean, right now, things are, it's fairly bright in here, so that'd be another thing, like skybox, different cloud cover, so. Salacious said mountains here look natural but still have the art style. I love it. Yep. Monty's done a fantastic job. When he posted the picture of what was going, like basically what he's working on, it was a couple of people on the team were immediately like, oh man, it looks like a painting. So yeah, and what we really want is when you go from one zone to another zone, even if it's in the same biome, we want you to feel like you're experiencing something new, right? And we can dynamically change some of these settings as well, like fog settings and stuff. Something we haven't been doing. But yeah, so I mean the difference between this as a zone and this as a zone, even without texture changes. I'm just like twiddling knobs here. Varied biomes also makes the world feel bigger. The fog and other environmental effects adds a lot, in my opinion. Kind of like quality water adds more than you'd initially think. Yeah. Because we're also zooming around and we're just we're in here and we're looking around. It's not that big a deal. But whenever we're in playing, it slows things down even more, and gets us really just kind of like, we're making the time investment in an area. Space Ghost said the fog gives it more mystique. Like it? Right on. Hope this is the actual zone in the game and not just a test. Don't worry. You're gonna get plenty of this type of stuff coming up. Just give us some time. Oh, there we go. Can we have magic volcano that erupts colorful ether that spawn abominations? Seems doable. Or glitter volcanoes. Hey, Nick. There's a threshold. Oh, right on, Goblin. That may come in handy. Nick said, just got back from a fantastic Vietnamese restaurant, actually. So good. Man, it's almost 10 p.m. here. You can't tell us about that. I'm going to get hungry again. Yeah. Which do you feel is better? Like, which would be better, Nick? The best pho you have ever had, or the best ramen? That's a tough one. You were requesting we go to ramen today. Yeah, that's the thing, man. Like, because ramen just got... There's just some incredible flavors that you can get with ramen. Man, I'm trying to show the thing that Chip was working on. Jintaki said, wife's grandmother is from Nha Trang. Love when she cooks. Oh, I can imagine. That's such a... Man, that's such a treat. That's such a treat. Different country entirely. So I'm segueing. I'm not trying to say it's the same thing. Don't call me out. But a buddy of mine when I was at King's Isle, his wife was from Thailand, and one of the guys that we worked with was like the dude that's always like, I can eat the spiciest food. And she was like, okay. And she cooked all day and we went over there. And he was just a snotty, eye-watering mess of a man within like the first dish. We're dying laughing. And yeah, I thought I wasn't going to be able to eat it, but then I could, and I felt just blessed that I was able to eat it. And then and also not have the burns the next day. That was nice. Whoops. Blessed. I was I was for sure blessed in that sense. I did not have the problem. The fire down below. Okay, I've broken everything in here, so I'm gonna step back out. Nick said Valley looks pretty insane. First time seeing it from this point of view. Yeah, it's great. It's really great. Monty's done a great job here. So far everybody's done a fantastic job. Is the engine able to have fog roll in and out depending on time of day or weather? It is. It is. We've asked Ollie that, and because Nick, Monty was saying it, and I wasn't like, I could kind of see it, but I wasn't 100% for sure until I hopped in here. Monty was saying when you see it in real life, you'll see that it's very chunky. Like the geo is very much in keeping with our style. It's just when you see it at a distance, it's like. Oh, is that what I was doing? I was changing the time of day, not the... Yeah, I know what I'm doing wrong now. I know what I was doing wrong. I'm a dummy. I wasn't changing the intensity before. I was actually manipulating its positioning. Fog in the early AM, atmospheric effects with weather, just straight up next level. Yeah, so we'll be playing with that in the coming months as well. Cool. If I go back if I hop into a different zone, I don't save, that'll fix it. That will fix it. I'm trying to find... These shaders actually move. I wasn't Nick, I looked and I didn't see anything obvious as to why I wasn't able to zone into these. So I've got a couple dudes that are just stuck. But I also didn't dig into the database very much. Okay. Yeah, I saw like a zone entry for them, but I wasn't sure. I didn't look to see if so there's a zone entry for volcanic plains. There's a zone entry for jungle biome. Hey Swanee, happy Friday. Don't think I see one for this one. One of the questions I had for Ollie was whether or not they needed to be in like a specific folder, because all of these are like in a top level folder here. They're not buried in these other directory, like other parts of the directory. And I could have sworn he said it didn't matter. Cool. He told you the same thing. All right. Well, I believe in Ollie. All right. We were talking about it earlier, Nick. Isn't it going to be exciting when you're sailing up from Night Harbor and you go through the Shallow Shoals, past Vale of Zintar. You see it, right? And you're just kind of working your way up the coast, and then boom, and then you start seeing some greenery. For everyone else it'll be exciting, but I'll be dead at my bind location. Yeah, I forgot about that. I mean, it is feasible that if you start factioning now and work on your attitude when dealing with ships, maybe the ship mafia will. There it is. Thank you, Zukin. In our documentation, we've got mimic / ship mimic. It's a documented part of the game. It's a for real thing. Okay, hopefully Chip doesn't mind me showing this off really quick. Excuse me. What's up, Dartan? Darton. Open a new window. Wait a second. Imagine some of these things working together. Man, everybody's just doing so much cool shit right now. Right, so what was I was messing with something. I was messing with something in it. Chip's been on fire. Dude's an inspiration. Yeah, we've got a rad team, dude. I'm excited for the thing you've been working on, Keith. Water amazing, lightning amazing, fog amazing, devs amazing. Oh, thank you. But Chunky is correct. You're not being very pessimistic. You're not staying on brand. Yeah, we've got 3 separate moon setups because we've got 3 separate moons. Three moons? What is this, Kryn? Well, based on some of you guys' fixation on dragon people. I'm not gonna repeat it. Pessimistic Squid. I read what you wrote. I'm not gonna repeat it. Should I repeat it? I'm not gonna repeat it. Oh, you want me to repeat it, don't you? Three moon expansion. I just looked up at a glance and saw the giant white beard and the scowl, and I thought it was a red hat, and I was like, "Oh, that is for sure my dad." It's like Willow mixed with D&D, mixed with EQ, mixed with Dragonlance, mixed with... What is? What would 3 moons do to the tide, actually? Oh, it'd be a shit show. Let's not try to make... Let's not get into fantasy physics, Goblin. Let's not do that. So I was in here checking something earlier, Zukin, and hit this, and this guy popped up on me, and I was like, "Oh shit!" Literally jumped a little bit. Warm Dragon Booty, one of my favorite videos. Night Harbor has it under control for obvious reasons, but constant tsunami zone win. Oh, we gotta add it to the list. We've got a big list. So we have a safe word in here, Darton. Our safe word is pineapple. When you see a pineapple in chat, you need to desist from going the direction that you are headed in. Pineapples mean you're a swinger? Really? UK Rads, is that truth? Banana on pizza is pretty good, not gonna lie. Did you see in Discord it is true? Was that in the manual, or how do you know this, UK Rats? No judgment, I'm just curious. I'm curious where you get your info. Swingers think everything means you're a swinger. Bandit, are you still in the airport? I did not realize that. I did not realize that, UK Rats. But I'm still keeping it as the safe word. Because safe word means stop. What was I doing? Beyond talking about safe words and swingers. Man, you learn a lot on the stream. I'm sorry, Nicodemus. Nicodemus is a southern gentleman. You don't need to infect his ears with... Don't put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby. Have you heard the retirement community in Florida that is basically a giant swing community? There's some news report on it. I just watched a documentary because my mom and dad, they're divorced, but oddly they've landed in the same part of the world in Florida. They each of them live on like in a different direction. It's the Villages in Florida. My parents live near there. I just watched a documentary on YouTube. Nick knows the guy's name. I always mess it up. It's Pete something. Pete Sala, not Sala something. Look it up. Pete something. Pete Sala something it's with an S. He does 30 to 40 minute documentaries. Something like that, 40 minutes an hour. Santinello. Yeah, the bald guy. The guy is fantastic. He's so good at what he does. I love watching his documentaries. And he just did one down there, and everybody's like, but they could be lying. UK Rat says, I haven't seen the stream live in months. I'm glad I could drop in today to have this discussion. I'm glad you're here. Where would we be without your knowledge of swinging? But anyways, he was at the Villages. But yeah, the Villages. It's a neighborhood in Florida that's like 100,000 people now. It's like its own little town within the town. I've seen at least one of his documentaries on West Virginia. That's actually one of the first ones I saw from him because they were like, he was in Appalachia. I'm like, hell yeah, I'm interested. Watched a few in Chicago. Him in Chicago. Watched one recently with him down in, I think, New Mexico or Arizona on the border. Well worth a watch. Gnarly. Nicodemus says, I actually know someone who lives there. Daughter's boyfriend's parents, strange enough, they have a pineapple flag. Just thought it was a decor. Oh man, I'm sorry you had to learn it here. Oh, I mean, I've heard old folks' homes are like that, for sure. All right. Eyebrow color. Wasn't there a 90s film named Swingers too? Yes, but I think it was a different kind of swinger. I don't remember that happening. The villages seemed like a cool idea, though. Run around on carts, stores close by. Didn't realize other recreational activities. Hey, and you know, if that's what they're into, no shame. No shame on that. Not here to judge. The Lufa sales off the charts there. Yeah, that's what they were talking about. Like one of the people was asked about the whole, are there a bunch of swingers kind of thing. Yeah, there's so many golf cart stores along that road. When I went down to visit my mom, it's just like you go down there, it's just golf carts everywhere. I spent a weekend on Catalina Island off the coast of whatever, California. And it was really rad just driving around on golf carts there as well. I thought it was pretty cool. Features. Catalina wine mixer. So I lived in a neighborhood in Austin. It was out by the dam, and it was in hill country, and we had some people out there that would ride around on golf carts as well, and they would get tanked and ride their golf carts. And it's not a great neighborhood for it. Here, I'll show you. The neighborhood was pretty sketchy. It was great to run in, but the second there's some ice in Texas, you're not leaving the house. So running. Here. So you can't really tell, but if we can hit the angle on this. Oh, this isn't Google Maps. Anyways, super hilly, and people would be out here zooming around on their golf carts, and like this hill is just gnarly to run up. It felt like you're staring at the actual road as you're running up it, right? Like it was just a pretty intense hill out here. I don't know if anybody was wondering, but what I've been doing with this guy is I've just got a ton of NPCs that are in the game, and most of them are just using like default sort of setups. And so I figured if whenever we're just kind of bullshitting, or if I'm watching a podcast or something, I can come in here and grab one or two and update them a little bit and see how it goes. Get some additional variety in there. I've got the feeling this texture that I'm using is probably going to ultimately be a no-go longer term, but I'll let the artist tell me that later. Zukin's out there. He can fix it. We stayed at a gated resort in Cabo. Love driving the golf cart around. Can you drink the water there? How does that work? Justin Beard said, all right, heading home. See you guys. 10, 15 minutes. All right, buddy. Be safe. Darton Weeple, are you in our Discord? We are at 6,700 people in Discord. Cool. All right, you're in there. All right, then you're on the cool list. The resort had its own treatment plant, but we still drank bottled water the whole time. Smart move. That would be one of my main concerns. Because it's never fun when you just gotta do a lot of you go on vacation, you just sit there and just poop the whole time is not what I'm excited about. And when it comes to vacation, we went on a skiing trip to in Sweden, and we were all stuck in this cabin together. Well, that was the plan, right? So two families with tiny babies. Another dude, me, Jasmine, and I think maybe one more person. And day one, one of the babies like projectile vomits. Just pow. We're in the dining room area, and pow, projectile vomit. But babies do that, so it's not a big deal, right? It's like okay, but it was kind of a weird, like it was a lot. It wasn't like a baby amount. It's like an exorcist amount. And so it's just like, like made a weird mental note on that one. It's like, that didn't seem great, but they seemed to think it was kind of normal. And yeah, and so it was all right, right? They cleaned it up. And then over the course of like the next 2 days, I guess in Sweden, and maybe it's everywhere, but in Sweden there's this 24-hour. There's a 24-hour puking shitting sickness you can get. There's a word for it in Swedish. If any of you are Swedes, maybe you can enlighten us. Hey, what's up, secrets? And so it was like a horror movie. Just slowly, everybody was getting taken out one by one. But then it just happens to you for like 12 hours, and then you recover. And so what's the phonetics on that? Is it Kroksiuka? Hoterian. Did you just find the word, or do you know the word? Oh, you know what? Do you know I forget. It's been a little while. Is the A with the umlaut? Is that a O or a U or Kroksioka? You live in Sweden. What part? Swedish word of the day. Vinter Kroksioka. It's this. Oh, you live in Crime City. Malmo. Malmo. However you guys pronounce it. I wanted there to be like an actual pronunciation button on this thing. Anyways. Crime City. No joke down there. That's a legit city. Sweden's now number 2 in gun crime in all of Europe, including the weird Eastern European countries. Congrats, guys. It was definitely an experience living there. So anyways, back to my story before we get on weird topics. So we go snowboarding like the next day, and Jasmine's complaining the whole day because she can't get warm. She's like, my feet won't warm up, so she winds up sitting in a building. We hit a couple more of the pistas or whatever you call them in English, and so I'm feeling great. I'm feeling okay. A little bit of hangover from the night before, but I'm fine. I'm like, okay. We get in the bus and it's just packed with people, and we're on the far end of the resort, so we've got to go all the way back. And as we get in the bus and I'm sitting there, all of a sudden my mouth starts watering, and I'm like, no, I'm not good. I'm not good. And so I'm like looking around for any bag, and I find a plastic bag, and I'm just sitting there with the bag, like, and it's loud, and I'm like, it's just sheer willpower at that point. And I tell I tell Jasmine, the guy that we're with, I'm like, oh, this isn't good. Like, I'm probably gonna puke on the bus. We make it all the way back, and I'm just like white knuckles, sweating, and we get off the bus, and I immediately get off the bus, like, got bored, everything, and they're walking, and they start to notice I'm falling behind. And it's, it's 15 below or whatever it was there. It's like 25 below at night, I think. Euro temperature, not US. I don't know the conversion. And so finally, I've already set in my mind, I'm not making it to the cabin. The most comforting thing I can think of to do is I want to drop to my knees and just throw up and go to sleep in one of the snow berms that's there. But I keep forcing myself forward. Finally, we get in the house, and I'm feeling so gnarly at this point that, you know how snowboard boots are, right? Like, I'm trying to get them off as fast as I can. And I'm just like, I'm sweating. I'm holding on for dear life. I get the boots off and my coat, and that's it. And I go running upstairs. But it doesn't happen. It doesn't hit. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, all right, I'm just going to crawl in bed. Anything to make me not feel this bad. I'm crawling into bed. And Jasmine, out of the blue, pops up and is like, oh God. And she goes to the bathroom, like sprints. And it begins. And so, like, and I'm just like shivering and laying there. And then finally she comes back at some point. I'm already starting to get like delusional. And at some point, like, I'm like passing out and waking up, and then finally I sprint in there, and she had left the window open, and I'm like, I go in there, and fortunately for me, it was just one end. It wasn't bi-directional. And I go in, and it's like someone hooked me to a fire hydrant or something. Just every fluid in my body erupted out of my face non-stop, just, and it was the most violent thing ever. And I mean, I just, like, I have stepped out of a C-130 during like airborne school multiple times, and I'm fairly certain that me stepping out of a plane was less violent and forceful than all of the fluids in my body bursting out of my face. This guy's face looks like he experienced that. So anyway, I'm not checking the viewer count, but it's probably dropping as the story goes, but I don't care. Enjoy your Friday. And so I'm blasting this toilet. And yeah, it was coming out of everything. Mouth, nose, probably eyes, ears. But at least it was all on this, the front end was projecting. And I immediately like lay down and I'm just shivering. And then I realized the window's open. And I'm like, okay, that explains why I'm so cold. And so I'm like, I'm okay. I think I'm done. Climb back in bed. And the both of us are still in most of our ski gear, just like cuddled together, shaking and delusional. And I'll be honest with you. We spent the next few hours like that. And it was that kind of really nice. It was that nice, like fever dream kind of. The weird delusional sleep was pretty good. Next day I was like, that was actually kind of rad. But yeah. Dude, one end, other end is not the fun. I've never been a real big fan of that, though I'm not sure anybody ever is, right? Dude, so yeah, the next day we come down and we're feeling better, and then everybody's just looking around like, who's next? Because everybody's gonna get it. Aramisk, have a great weekend. Glad we could be here for you. Antelion said, this is one of the few good things about the pandemic. Before, all 3 kids usually got Kraksyuka every February. But during pandemic, nothing. Yeah. I think one of the reasons why my theory about why that particular stomach virus transmits so much in Sweden is directly linked to snooze. Pessimistic Squid said, the worst part of both ends is trying to make the split decision of what's going to go on the floor. Yeah. Yeah. Pineapples, Poops, and Projectiles, a worthy title for this VOD, for sure. Snooze. So, the Swedes, S-N-U-S, the Swedes love snuff, like dip. So, I would be in a meeting, like keep in mind, Jasmine stood by me through that. She's a keeper. Jasmine's situation was worse than I was. I'm a keeper. Her situation was way worse than mine, but I'm not going to tell you her business. I'm just going to say she had a worse scenario. I'm not gonna say anything because that'd be rude. But yeah, I'm a keeper if I say so myself. Pessimistic Squid. So the snooze theory, and now that Elterion's thinking about this, you know what I mean. So I'd be sitting in a meeting, and it's one of those things where people, if you live in the South in America, like especially Southeast, you'd probably like Sweden. Folks drive really nice big pickup trucks, and everybody's got a dip in all the time. I would be sitting in a meeting, and people are just reaching in their lip, pulling out a used packet of snooze, put it back in the top of the case, pull out another one, put it straight back in. And we'd be at a fancy restaurant or whatever. People, boom, nobody smokes there. But everybody has the snooze in all the time. upper dip, upper lip dip, lower, either one. But yeah, you'd see it. You'd see it. And the company I was at was the company I was at was, we were probably, you know, we went from 70 to 120 people. Video game company, 55% female. And so for me, again, it wasn't necessarily a normal thing. And I mean, I spent my high school years in Alabama, families in Florida, and it wasn't normal just to see, you know, of a meeting with 6 different women in there, 3 of them putting in a new dip, right? And but what I noticed is everybody reaches into their mouth, takes the dip packet out, puts it in there, shuts it, gets a new one, and then what do they do? This is how we're going to sterilize our hands, and it's brilliant because I think it works. We're going to rub it on our jeans or our pants. And boom. Now we're done. Everything's sterilized. And then we're going to touch doorknobs. We're going to touch desks. We're going to touch each other's hands. Right? And they wonder why everybody's getting 24-hour shitting sickness on the regular. So Alterion said, oh yes. Kraxuka does not seem to be as big a thing in other countries as it is in Sweden. A very interesting theory. But secrets. Do the female employees there dip? Yeah. So anyways, that was my theory. Is that the whole sickness that they're dealing with stems from their filthy hands being in and out of their mouth regularly. At work, I wash my hands a few times a day after touching stuff. Stuff some of the hogs I work with have touched. I wash my hands so frequently when I have to work in an office. Yeah, I wash my hands nonstop when I'm in an office. Secret said, hot take ketchup better than barbecue sauce. I agree with that. I'm okay with that. But I'm in Germany, so I mix my ketchup with mayonnaise pretty regularly. Buffalo sauce for the win. I think that's fair as well. What is the best dipping sauce? There we go. Justin Beard's in with spicy South Carolina mustard. Mustard and mayonnaise is much better. I haven't tried mustard and mayonnaise, I don't think. I was just eating some mustard and mayo. I mean, ketchup and mayo last night. Pizza sauce that has been graced with pineapple juice. Good job, Nick. Nick's an instigator. Nashville hot sauce. Mayo make you vomit? No. No, it won't. Domino's dipping sauce, though. What is in that? Mayo is gross, such an American. No, it's not. Mayo is not just an American thing. Idafab, mayo is huge in Germany. Get mayo on everything. You can just get mayonnaise for your French fries. Pommes mit Mayo bitte. No mayo in Canada? Well, Canada's weird. You heard it here. I've seen the metrics. I know how many of you are from Canada. If you get upset, it's fine. Negligible loss for the satisfaction I get of making fun of your... Canada's not even a real country. Guaranteed you can't show me Canada on a map. North Montana, exactly. We're not allowed to talk politics or religion or current events in here, but I do think we can all agree that Canada isn't a real place. Oops, I changed the wrong thing. Pay $22 for a steak. Why can't I order a $22 block of parm? You know what? I think you would actually get more steak for your buck, but I do think Parmesan's actually more calorie dense. Goblin must have stepped out. No, Goblin knows what's going on. Goblin's just being quiet. If Canada isn't real, why is it that we always blame them for everything? Well, because it's more polite to blame shit that doesn't exist for your problems. Hey, White Bandit, watch that now. You're about to get on an airplane. You're about to get on an airplane. It's not been a good month for airplanes, buddy. I would not be tempting the big man. Oh shit. Sorry. Too dark? Too soon? You're about to get on a 737 MAX 9. Did you see the plane that was on fire in Florida? Yeah, I saw that one. I just saw that one. I just saw that one. Is that you, Robin Hood? That you can take it. I have a feeling he has a twisted sense of humor. People be like, what is all this salt falling from the sky? Mortis, listen, I don't attack your beliefs. You don't attack mine. I just reminded you that Robin Hood Men in Tights exists. Yeah. Man, good luck finding that. You know what? Oh, man. So Jasmine has never seen the movie Red Dawn before. So I got excited because I convinced her to watch the movie Red Dawn the other night. And I was amped. I'm like, you're about to watch. This is going to be awesome. And so we got it. And I didn't realize because she had found it on, she had found it to stream and did not realize that it was, the new one. And I hadn't seen the new one before. And I gotta say, the new one is definitely not the old one. Secret said we should do another 2-hour talk since it's been has it been 2 years already? Man, time flies. What? When did we put an apron in? Zukin. I mean, it's fairly placeholder still, I'm assuming, but it's in. We have aprons? It's been in. I have not seen an apron in forever. Was it posted in Slack? Man, we got to get it finished up. That's exciting. I'll be putting aprons all over the place. Apron, little work belt. That'd make it versatile. So did she see the original Dawn, Red Dawn? No, we just watched the old one. We've got to check out the. Oh, she watched the new one. We got to check out the old one at some point. Premiere September 17th, 2021. And it's been a while. Excuse me. Yeah, I'm afraid the pirate video in Germany, I could have sworn ISPs here look for weird shit like that. I don't know how they would find it though, unless they're like doing deep packet inspection or something. Or they just, maybe they're just tracking like activity. VPN will do it. Yeah, fair. That's a fair point. Does the VPN help with DPI? I would assume it would. I would assume it wouldn't because the traffic is still coming to you. Notice I said you and not me because you are the ones doing it. I am a coward. There are certain things I don't mess around with in Germany. Taxes, this stuff. When I saw the new Red Dawn, I couldn't finish it. Played a game and missed the end half of it. Yeah, you didn't miss anything. It was pretty rough. It was not good. I just brought back a long forgotten memory of the Napster days for you. That's nice, man. Those days were so much fun. Finding weird ass music and stuff. Well, sounds like Jasmine just got home. Okay. So I'll tell you what I'm going to do, guys. Since we've expended all of our energy for this Friday, the monster energy has worn off. We have told all sorts of stories about getting sick in Sweden, and yeah, we told that story. We've talked about pineapples and swingers at the villages in Florida. We've talked about... We actually did some actual showing off of M&M stuff and kind of semi-work related stuff earlier. Today's stream has definitely been, it's been a wild ride through various facets of human deviancy and disease. She was just like, oh no. Drinking Monster and sharing memories, exactly. Oh yeah, my presentation that wasn't very fun for me. The legacy of it. Huh? That would be awesome if we were like the one company they didn't sue into oblivion, but instead we're actually like, you guys are pretty awesome. Would you like to drink our beverage? Poor Nathan Napalm's been dealing with kidney stones. I'm kind of like, oh, let me put the Monster Energy drink down. Those of you that weren't around yesterday, if you did not see the discussion that we had here yesterday, it was with the folks from Embers Adrift. And it was a really, really fun discussion. They're great folks. Really nice crew. And like I mentioned during that, like I've had fun chilling out and playing the game over the holidays. I was finally able to get in and take a look and enjoy it. So if you guys are looking for something, maybe it'll be something you're into, maybe not. But if you're curious, definitely check it out. And yeah, so I'll get that VOD posted up on our YouTube soon as well. And yeah, everybody have a great weekend. Zukin, I think all sorts of stuff other than water can cause kidney stones. I think like sweet tea is a big cause of it back home. I'm not 100% sure how it works. I'm not a medical doctor or financial advisor. Guys, have a great weekend. I will see you on Tuesday. I had a lot of fun. Ishiwatari, sorry, buddy. So yeah. Stonelistic, you're welcome. Be More Gaming says genetics plays a big role too. Right on, then maybe I won't get it. Lisava, you're welcome. Nick, see ya. Life Water says, wait, this wasn't financial advice. Technically it wasn't, but you know. Pilgrim, you're welcome. Keith, see ya in Slack. You too, John. Nicodemus, see you in Slack as well. The Morgue, goodbye. Talet, you're very welcome. Thanks for being here. Pessimistic Squid, had a good time. Thank you for being so not pessimistic. Your positivity was infectious today. Night Zukin, Cathadian, see you. Justin Beard, yeah, you guys hook up in Discord. Later Dragon. Gampa Carrot, Monsters and Memories is the name of the game. Check out our website if you... Unless you're... Oh, the game? Embers Adrift that I was talking about earlier. So you're asking about us. Liz, have a great weekend. Am I missing anybody? Chinny D, see ya. Always fun to see you in here, buddy. Jintaki, thank you for sharing. You subscribed to Embers already? Right on. Cool. Lich, love you too. Be nice in Discord. Have a safe flight. Got nothing but good thoughts for you. Praying for a safe flight. If all of a sudden you disappear from Discord, I'm gonna feel guilty. Tschüss, Ishvatare. Schönes Wochenende. Dozakar, have a great one. Alright, that's it. I'm gonna push the button now. I'm gonna wrap up here. And hopefully we got some cool stuff to show you on Tuesday. And like I said, keep in mind, won't be streaming Thursday. And we'll see from that point on. I will see how I feel after surgery. And maybe a week or so before I'm sitting around here doing that. Or maybe not. I will see you. Have a great weekend.